harvesting insects for a crunchy alternative to meat.
Oh, this was not the video I wanted to make today. The video I was making was reacting to the spicy comments left on the Eco Living trailer, and surprise, there was another one dropped today, and oh boy. If I thought this meat cutting gif made me sick to my stomach, just a little bit queasy, they have come out with the whole shebang of eating bugs. Nope. Oh joy. So I'm a little bit confused why this is in the game, because there are so many good meat alternatives like tofu, tempeh, seitan, jackfruit, and you can grill giant portobello mushrooms and make them into an actual burger substitute. So I'm sitting here thinking, why did we get bugs when there are so many good alternatives? If these things are trademarked, just put a sim spin on them. Why did we get bugs? And then the other part of my brain is going, cows are living creatures, bugs are living creatures, both can feel pain, so why are bugs a better alternative to, tofu and stuff that is made out of plants and protein? I don't know. I'm sitting here with a lot of questions and a very queasy stomach because I have not eaten yet today. It is 4 p.m. and I watched that trailer and the bug eating on an empty stomach. So I should get hazard pay, I think, because I was not expecting that and literally made me sick to my stomach thinking about that. Let me know, guys, how you feel about that, because coming from someone who's an omnivore, that makes me a little bit queasy. I do eat meat occasionally, but I eat a lot more vegetarian and vegan meals just because they're oftentimes less expensive than buying several pounds of meat. I have a feeling this is going to devolve into an argument involving vegetarian and veganism, and that bugs are still living creatures and shouldn't be eaten, so I wanted you guys to all know where I stood on this. Would I love to not eat meat? Yes. Meat has never made me feel comfortable, especially preparing or cooking it. Yes, I would love if I could afford to be a vegetarian or vegan, but I simply cannot. So now that that is out of the way, let's talk about the trailer as a whole, and you're gonna have to excuse me for a few minutes because I have to go rewatch the horror that is this trailer, because I think I blacked out sometime after watching the sim eat the bugs, so I'll be back. Okay, I am ready to talk about the trailer now. I rewatched it and avoided the bugs this time because I knew they were coming. My first thoughts were, boy, this narration is pretty awful. I'm sorry. This sounds like me back in like 2014 when I was trying to be super excited even though I was miserable inside. It's really, really bad, and I don't know why they chose this overly happy and bubbly, everything is so great narration. It's grating, and a lot of other people felt that way too. There's also a little bit of pandering with it. I don't know if you guys caught it, but a lot of the things that were said in the trailer were sort of like cool and hip, and I'm just like, no, talk like a real person. I really like the look of a lot of this rundown furniture. I know a lot of people have been asking for stuff like this, and we sort of got some of this stuff in City Living, and I'm not upset that we're actually getting more lived-in looking furniture. Sort of like the stuff that you have when you leave the house for the first time or go to college. All the hand-me-downs that are scratched and ripped, and your family's like, well, that's the best we can give you right now. It has a lived-in feel, and I like that. I like that we're getting more furniture like that, but it remains to be seen how much we actually get. Okay, I was on board with dumpster diving, but I'm not really on board with this in a dumpster. Like, come on, who wants to be that nasty? This seems like another one of those use it once, never use it again things, because honestly, who wants to jump into a dumpster? I just don't see how this goes with anybody's gameplay. Maybe if you're doing like Rags to Riches and Hunter Baby Challenge and you have nowhere else. I just have a feeling it's gonna be another one of those, yeah, it exists, but who really wants to go and interact with it? I'm also really glad to see more recycling of animations. Yeah, that's the coffin animation from Vampires coming back for the third or maybe fourth time already. So we finally get to see what the dew collector looks like. What I think the dew collector is. It's back in the back and it's got a big blue funnel on it. Was that in another trailer or did I miss it? Because there was a lot going on in that last trailer. If I missed it, I do apologize. But I think that's the dew collector. I'm also liking the panel with the different colored like grasses and stuff on the wall. Love that. I'm also really liking the low to the ground green kind of bush thing on the edge of the roof. I've tried doing the whole green roof before and it really didn't look right, so I think having that would make it look a little bit better. I know, I'm weird. I like the furnishings. I haven't seen anything that screams I hate it, which is good. I like a lot of the decorations. I hope that there's some new bushes and stuff, although I'm not really familiar with the bushes that are actually in game, so I wouldn't really know if they're new or not. But again, I have a green heart. I love that kind of stuff, so I'm definitely okay with having more of that. Now, the only thing that kind of bothers me is these cute eco houses sort of stick out like a sore thumb in the world. And I'm wondering, since we haven't seen the world, are all these other houses and the dummy houses in the background, are they going to change too when we make the world nicer? Or are these houses always going to look like this and always stick out like sore thumbs and look really weird in the world? I'm hoping that when we refresh the world and we make it cleaner, that the houses will change, but you never know. I really don't like the idea of having these really cool, bright, funky eco houses in a world full of boring, drab houses that just don't look like they fit. It just doesn't have a good aesthetic appeal for me. So they mentioned these rules that we could put in place. I believe in the blurb for the pack, there were rules of how to live. And they talked about in the trailer a water shutoff day. Are these new rules going to be chosen by us, the player? Are they going to be mandatory in the game and they're just going to happen and we're going to have to deal with them? Are they going to be along the lines of holidays from seasons where we can pick and choose and get rid of them if we don't like them? There's a lot still up in the air, and I think I would prefer for myself to be able to choose which rules I wanted to follow and not have rules like you can't use water today. Okay, so where am I going to use the bathroom at? How am I going to take a shower if we can't have water? They haven't really shown any, at least not to my knowledge, off the grid toilets or showers, so I'm a little perplexed at how that's going to work. I am all for vertical gardening. Yes, please. I will take this gladly. I have done challenges and series where Sims have to stay home for one reason or another, and growing was a great way to make money. But then again, you had to turn your entire backyard into plants so you could actually make a reasonable amount of money. So I am definitely for growing higher, growing vertical, having a bunch of plants on 1 or 2 spots. Definitely like that. But let's be real here. This could have come in Tiny Living. This is something I think of when I think of Tiny Living. On the last trailer, there were a lot of people talking in the comments about how there were different items that could have come in one pack broken up into multiple packs. And we can definitely start to see that with the Tiny Living eco-friendly stuff that were broken up into little bits here and little bits here, and you gotta buy 4 or 5 packs to get all of it. Yeah, they were pretty on the money when they were talking about that. If it wasn't clear from the beginning of the video, I have no intention of using the alternative meat options in this pack. Like I said in the beginning, I don't like the look of raw meat, touching, handling it, so the cutting gif made me queasy, and just the thought of raising insects and holding them and loving them and then eating them, no thank you, I'm good. I'm gonna stick with the regular food in the game. I'm just not that interested in it, and I don't know if this is gonna be a selling point for a lot of people. It's not a selling point for me. I already talked about this in my last video, but I like the idea of making fizzy drinks and having like a little distillery, and wink wink, nod nod. I also like the idea of candle making. I like crafting in the game. I wish there were more crafty hobbies. So this is right up my street. Let's talk about the fabricator. And I did call it that in my trailer, even though I didn't know what it was gonna be, but that was the word that came to mind. So yay me. I wanna talk about this because I think we're getting a little too far into the territory of kooky and not necessarily into a territory of practical. So LGR summed this up really good in his video about Tiny Living, where he was talking about the pull down beds and that they just kept not working over and over and over and over and over, and it became frustrating and it became something that someone wants to mod out of their game. And if someone really wants to mod something out of their game, you've pretty much screwed up in the planning stage. And I can really see this interaction with the fabricator becoming annoying when you're just trying to use it. You just want it to do something and it just picks you up and drops you and throws you on the ground. And it does this over and over and over. I think we really need to scale back the ridiculousness, because ever since Seasons, that was my first inkling that ridiculousness was kind of taking over with the puddles where you would slip and fall constantly. It was not fun to play like that, and it just seems to have gotten worse as we move through the packs. It really does seem like everything now that comes to the game has some weird and strange thing it does, and for me, that's not what I'm looking for. So I want to ask you guys a question. Do you guys feel, now that we've seen the majority of stuff coming to this pack, that it's worth $40? Because a lot of people had a problem with it being $40, but it didn't feel like it was worth $40. I want to know your guys' feelings down in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video.